Hi, I'm Mike Jankowski-Lorek. I'm Director of Consulting and Cybersecurity Expert at CQURE. Today, we will dive into PKI-related misconfiguration. Join me as we will explore possible misconfiguration with ADCS certificate templates and how small mistakes allows attacker to compromise AD environment. Get ready to enhance your skills and take your knowledge to the next level. Let's get started.
So it's another episode regarding the PKI. And this time I'm going to show you the most common problems or risks associated with the certificates and the certificate templates, not really certificate issuance based on the certificate template. So I already prepared some of the templates, and first of all, let's verify that I can request some certificate. Right now, I'm going to search for the different types of the certificates that I can request. So in the certificate manager for the current user, I can just simply go and explore what are the possible for me certificates to request. I have prepared 3 different users. As you can see, there's an R user 2, R user 3. Each of them has a slightly different possibilities, and obviously if I try to, for example, add in the R user some custom values, for example, I would like to change the properties of this one, let's say modified, and I would like to add a subject, the subject, okay, and maybe the user principal name, admin at raccoons.pl. Of course, I'm not an admin at this moment, and I'm just the James Bond. So just to verify, everything is set up here, and I can, for example, request those 3 different certificates. Let's see what will happen. In the first one, I was modifying elements, and of course, based on the configuration that is on the templates, it should be overwritten. So I shouldn't be able to modify those settings. And obviously, as you can see, even on the unmodified one, you still see that this is the default value, which was constructed from the request or name, and there will be no changes in the subject alternate name. It's still James Bond at raccoons.pl. Couple of other certificates which I have here, those are a little bit of misconfigured type of the certificates. So first of all, let me just delete most of those. I will delete those 2 certificates, and I'm leaving 1 James Bond. The thing which I want to test right now is to set up the stage and to verify that PKI init, so the Kerberos authentication based on the certificates, is working right now in this setup. So I have a James Bond, and there is a client authentication in the intended purpose. So I can just simply go with the CQURE and verify that TGT and PAC that I can get the PAC subject, and this was James Bond. Of course. If I have only 1 certificate at this moment, it will tell me that, oh, nice, it is a James Bond, everything about this user together with his NTLM hash, which is obviously retrieved from the Active Directory. Okay, so that's just the setting up the stage. So one of the things that you need to remember is that for the computers, there is a slightly different set of the certificates, and you might not see all of them at the same moment. Of course, you can click show all templates, and it will tell you that, for example, this administrator is not meant for this permission, so you do not have those permissions. Really, it is that it is not meant for the computer. In this moment, you can see that I have R computer and RWWW. So in R computer, it is absolutely the same as it is for the just a standard computer, standard machine template. It was a little bit just modified based on the name. And I have as well the RWWW, which allows me to provide the subject in the request. And one of the first misconfigurations is that I can try to get, for example, www, and here set it up that this is the www raccoons.pl. But also at the same moment, I can use for example, facebook.com. And that's not a problem here to use it with the different value. And even more, even that this is meant for the computer, and this allows me to provide the subject, the user principal name in the subject alternate name. So, for example, I'm putting again raccoons.pl here, admin for the principal. Okay, apply, okay, and I will just simply enroll for those certificates. And there are a couple of things. First of all, the R computer and RWW, let's see if I retrieve those without any problems. Yes, I have retrieved the possible RWW, which was with the modified values. So right now you can see already that it's issued for the WWW. And in the details, you will find out that the subject and subject alternate name are different. So you see there is a DNS name for the facebook.com, so I requested and I got it, and also the principal name admin@raccoons.pl. So one of the things is that when you can request with anything in the subject alternate name or really supply the subject during the request, I can impersonate anyone. Okay, so how can I do that? The simplest way would be to import this certificate together with the private key into the user certificates. So obviously, I'm currently a local computer administrator, and one of the things I could do there is right-click on the certificate, all tasks, and export it. And there are two options: that I can export with the private key, or that I cannot. And in this moment, both of those, especially the second one, which is the most interesting for me, WWW, it is the one that contains this additional subject alternate name, but I cannot export. Never believe in this one, unless, of course, you are using some hardware protection, for example, HSM device, or you are using virtual-based security, for example, with the credential guard. Otherwise, it is possible to export. So in this case, let me just show you that it is possible to exfiltrate this information. And I can show you that in this folder from Mimikatz at this moment, I do not have anything. So Mimikatz, and let's just simply run that. And I'm running this currently as a system because this is the red console. And what I would like to do. So first, let's see if I need to patch the crypto and copy. That's one. Okay, so it was patched. And right now I can just simply export the certificates. Remember, this is for the local store of the machine. If it would be for the local store of the user, I would use this one without the system store local machine. It would be by default for the user. So I'm going to export those elements. As you can see, public and private keys were exported at this moment. And let me just go there to that folder. So it would be in the C tools, and of course Mimikatz trunk, and there's x64. And looking at this one, like this local machine, my WWW PFX. So this is exactly the PFX that I can import right now into the, here. And Mimikatz, it's the password for it. I'm marking it as export table. I can also place it just to be on the safe side in the personal store, finish, and let's see right now how this one works. So I just imported it to WWW to this user store. Remember, inside of it, we have a subject alternate name. It is admin@raccoons.pl. So what can I do? Let's do exactly the same. Just this time it will be WWW. And right now you see that it's coming from the admin. Can I do something more with this? Of course. I can do this like that. Ask. Okay. And ask for the WWW and do already the PTT. That would be the simplest. And because I did it as an elevated console, so in the second elevated console, if I show KList, you will see that I'm an admin right now. Can I do something? there. Of course, I can reset passwords because this is the domain admin or server, but also I can do the tools and SI and PSEXZ, for example, go to the DC 01. See, yeah. Oops, it should be DC1, I think. Yeah, DC1. Oh, bad. Who am I? And of course, this is the admin. So this is possible to just impersonate someone. So it is very dangerous for having the certificate template with supply subject in the request, even that you think it is non-exportable or you think that it is only for the computer machine. Another thing is that even if you cannot export it on the Windows machine, you do not have a possibility of exporting some of the certificates. Let me just do one more trick here to reset that I'm again James Bond, and this is PTT and ask. So that I'm not cheating, that I'm not a domain admin. Okay, coming back, and on this one, KList, I'm again at James Bond. Yeah. So what I can do right now as a user, I can use OpenSSL, for example, to generate a new CSR on any machine. In this case, I will use the same password as always to generate the key. Let's use EL, Maz, Warsaw, and Raccoons, IT. FQDN, let's say www raccoon, maybe open raccoons.yeah. Beautifully, email address not needed, password for challenge, nothing else is needed. And now I have two files. It is a CSR and private key. So the next one is that I would like to request, and if you watched one of my previous videos, you can see that I'm using certificate template RWW to send the request with the additional information, and this is based on the CSR that was generated. And this is for the RWW. So there's one which is not exportable. But come on, I have my private key. It is in the file. So it's only information for Windows that should it be exportable or not. And can I convert it into PFX? Yes, I can. So just need to provide the password for this one. And certificates. And my cert. And here as well, my cert. And let's create it one more time. And here we go. So now I have my open cert PFX, which is, of course, I can import it again into my system, mark it as export table. And then, of course, next finish, I should see this one as well here as a www open raccoons.pl, which is based on RWWW. So you do not need to use Windows built-in tools to do that. You can use OpenSSL as well to generate. And then marking as non-exportable does not mean anything. So to summarize, so far you have seen that marking as non-exportable is not blocking me from exporting, and that I can impersonate someone if, for example, I have a client authentication and there is a possibility of changing the subject alternate name, UPN, to the different user UPN. So how to prevent this kind of possibility of requesting something as this user or with a custom UPN value? So on the templates, you need to change one of the settings, which not necessarily is always shown as an alert, but when you are changing the settings of the supply subject in the request to the different value, so let me just manage those. And if I go to the RWW, almost, so RWW, If I change that the request handling is, or subject name is built from Active Directory, it is automatically blocking this possibility of supplying the subject in the request. But if you have the supply subject in the request, you have this message showing that it might be a security risk. In the issuance requirements, you can select that the certificate manager approval is needed for this. And at that moment, no matter what someone is requesting, so for example, I will request again the certificate here for this particular RWW. I can provide this time common name www2 and DNS, let's say gmail.com. Let's use simple. Apply, OK, enroll. And it's going to be in the pending state. Pending state is preventing me from getting automatically the certificate, but at the same time, I can go to the CA and see those into the pending state on my certification authority. So the pending request, and you can see there is a pending request from now. I can go to the all tasks and I can issue or deny. But before doing that, I should verify all the extensions. And especially, I need to look into the subject alternate name if someone is not smuggling some risky value here. So if I decide to reject it, I can just simply say deny. If I want to issue it, there is no problem. I can send it. And also, it would be nice to export this certificate and then get it for the user. So for example, this one, and then copying it to the file and giving this to the end user so that he can import it. Oh, maybe I will finish this one. So on the desktop, let's use this one, browse on the desktop. Okay, next, finish. And then user can just simply copy this one. And if the user is going to import this certificate, there is no problem with that one. Install certificate for the local machine because it was requested from the perspective of local machine. Then place automatically in my personal store and finish. You will see that there is this key already associated with it. Oh, come on, first. Here it is, F5, and there is this www2. So that's one thing that we can look at. And beside that, we have additional problems which might exist in the template. So the next one, which is problematic, is if I request something on behalf of another user. When can I do that? So, for example, here we have an example of the R2 user, which has additional information and R3. Really, the R3 is the one that I'm interested at this moment because it has certificate request agent in it. So if I have a certificate for the certificate request agent as an enhanced key usage, I can request certificates for other users. So right now, I will try to do that, all tasks, advanced operation, and enroll on behalf of someone else. Next, and signing certificate. This time it's telling me that I don't have any certificates that can be used for the signing. If I click OK, nothing. If I click cancel, also at this moment, nothing. Let's click cancel once more time, and I cannot go with the wizard. But if I request the certificate and for some reason I got this very special certificate with the enhanced key usage, as you can see here, application policy is certificate request agent. If I request this and I get this certificate, which is extremely sensitive type of the certificate, I will be able to request on behalf of other users certificates. This certificate request agent is used for the enrollment stations. So, for example, if you are enrolling the smart. So, James Bond, this is the certificate. If I see this certificate, you will see this is with the certificate request agent. And I can click OK. And based on this, I can request, for example, user certificate template and choose the user. Let's say this time it is going to be admin, because I can impersonate admin here, enroll, and I should get standard user certificate. And it will be for Yoda Master. It is that it was issued based on the build from the Active Directory, and it has the capability of client authentication. Also, subject alternate name will have the UPM set to admin at reconciliation. So having the certificate request agent is extremely sensitive, and no one really should have it except of those who are in the enrollment stations, or rather enrollment agents, which are used for enrolling for other certificates. So let's look at the last template that I prepared for this time. So this is the R2 certificate, so our user certificate number 2. Let's try to see what is very special about this certificate. So first of all, when I look at the R2 user, I do not see anything suspicious regarding the application policy. Those are the standard ones: encrypting file system, secure email, and the client authentication. While looking at the properties of it, I do not see also information that I could override something. So this certificate looks very, very nice at this point. So what can go wrong with it? Let's see this template by using CQURE minus template, and it was R_user2. I prepared this template to show you a very interesting feature. First of all, here we have the SDDL, which is a security descriptor definition language, which is describing exactly what can we do with this template and who can do something with this template. And interesting is this one. Authenticated users has a write permission to that, meaning that I can open the MMC console, mmc.exe, and by using this console, really the certificate templates, I can go and modify, but I'll modify only this particular template. So for example, this one. And I can change that I can, for example, have in this one additional information that there is this certificate request agent. Very simple. So I just set it up that certificate request agent will be also in the R2 user. If I try to modify something, for example, validity time, on other templates, I'm getting information that is sufficient access rights, because by default, only the forest root domain admins and enterprise admins can modify the templates. But for some reason, someone has modified this R_user2 template. And of course, I can show you that I can change it, for example, to 2 years. That's also a possibility, changing it to 1 year back. And also, I can change that supply subject in the request. There's no problem with this. Click apply, and it's going to be vulnerable on 2 different levels, or really 3 different levels even at this moment. And why those kind of misconfiguration happen from time to time? Because administrators are used to select, for example, all 3 checkboxes, because they want to have an enroll and also the read for the template. But they see that there is a missing space and there is a write, so usually they select also the 3rd one. And this is a big misconfiguration because it allows me to do whatever I like as an authenticated user, or James Bond, doesn't matter, but I can do whatever I like. So right now, the new template, this R version 2, but it is the new version, has already the supply subject in the request. So I can say this is common, it will be test 1. Okay, and the UPN, let's say, Mike at raccoons.pl. Well, of course, this UPN doesn't exist. Let's enroll. And even if there is like pending state or whatever, I can change that. And now I have this beautiful test with the certificate enrollment agent. So I can do this again on behalf of and request certificates based on this mike@raccoons.net. And that would be perfectly fine for requesting for admin. Might be wrong admin. Yeah, successful. And as you can see again, the Yoda master. So 3 different misconfigurations, and this is something that is very important to understand, that the most important is if we don't have something like certificate request agent, or if we cannot modify the user principal name in the templates.